Many artists don't want to rely on record labels. That's why they're motivated to go the independent route. However, independence only works if you understand how to make labels optional rather than necessary. So if you want to learn how to do that, tune into today's episode of the Music Money Makeover Show. Step one to making these record labels optional is you got to make it to $10,000 a month plus, right? $10,000 a month plus puts you in the driver's seat. And here's what I mean by that. What no one tells you about making $10,000 a month in the music business is that you're essentially a virtual millionaire. This means you have an asset group or a group of assets generating the equivalent of a 10% return on investment of $1 million invested. That means the same principle applies even at $4,000 a month, right? That means a 4% return. This is called income cash flow, something that record labels cannot provide. Even though reaching this level takes hard work, most of my clients who've made it are starting to turn down deals because their cash flow is so good that a one-time lump sum just doesn't seem like much or doesn't mean much. So if you make it here, it's safe to say you're looking for a different type of deal. And if you're not at this level yet, hang in there. So let me break this down. After I surpassed 4K a month passively, life changed. So let me say, when I got $1,000 a month passively, I was working a job and I was like, oh, this is cool. Got a little extra, I got some extra cash I can do something with. It got to 2,000. I was like, all right. Then it got to 3,000 and 4,000. And I was like, yo. And then it started trekking up above 4,000 and 5,000 and 6,000. I was like, yo, oh, this feels different. What that essentially is you're feeling the effects of $1 million invested. So if you're at $1,000 a month passively, you're feeling the effect of $1 million invested with a 1% return. 2,000, you're feeling a 2% return on $1 million. 3,000, you're feeling a 3% return. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you're feeling a 10% return on $1 million, right? Because that's pretty much, I know you're not like here for investing, but that's pretty much that's how investing feels. You're getting a 10% return, 12%, 17, 14, 10, 9, 8, whatever percent returns you're getting. Let's just say you're in the stock market. And when you're doing that with music, you feel that. So once you start feeling 6% and above, like $6,000 a month and above, life will change. You start pumping your chest out a little bit like, yeah, we bosses over here. We not just hustling to sell it. I'm talking about this is cash flow every month that's happening off of something we built. And this is where artists begin to start to be like, a deal? All I gotta do is just keep increasing what I'm doing. What are we talking about? Recently, I saw Sauce Walker freestyling on Power 106. A lot of people don't know him. I personally don't know his music like that, but I heard of him. You know what I'm saying? I heard him on some songs before, but I'm not like into it like that. But the point is, there are a lot of artists that make millions each year where people just don't know them. And they're in this club where it's like, I don't need a deal. Like I'm so good. You might not have access to everything the major artists have, but you have a lot more comforts in life. You got to work hard for it. You see what I'm saying? But you got a lot more comfort. So you get to this club right here, and now things begin to change. Labels become much more of an option rather than a necessity. Okay, let's keep going. Now, if you want to turn down labels even more, then I'm going to say this. Profit is going to determine the deal. A 20 to 30% profit margin is what you're looking for. What if I told you that before you do any deal, the profit should be built in? And if you never heard this before, listen closely. Because if you cannot see the profit on paper before the deal is done, there is no use in doing the deal. A 20 to 30% profit margin is ideal when crafting a deal. If the mindset of the artist has reached this point, it is safe to say that no baby oil will find its way to your body, because you're probably starting to get things that you've wanted to get on your own already with your team. Creating deals with no profit in sight leads to getting burned in more ways than one, putting you in a slippery situation, one that I would not want to be in. So if you're going to sell merch, you do it based on estimated profit, right? So let's say you're going to get the hoodie, you're going to get the design done, you're going to screen print it on there or get it stitched in, whatever it is. You're going to run the numbers on it, right? Why wouldn't you do the same thing on a deal? And that's what I'm saying. So you're looking for the profit in the record deal. Usually that's going to be through the artist royalty. If that artist royalty is too low, it's a no-go. But guess what? We're already in the 10,000 and up club, or at least the 4,000 a month and up club. What are we talking about here? You've gotten your mindset to a place where the label doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter anymore. All you got to do is just upgrade your systems. That's all you got to do. And everybody on the team just got to get right. You know what I mean? This is what you're going to keep leaving those labels for. But then let's just put the icing on the cake with this one, because labels hate the word scale. When labels who still want to do business with you at this point find out that you know what scale means, they realize that they don't have a deal. They're very aware that they're going to have to switch their positioning. And if you understand that scaling means removing yourself physically from work that can be duplicated and automated while still getting the same results, of course, multiply infinitely, then there is no hope for discussion with a label partner. Many will bow out. And if you learn how to scale your very own music business, there will really be nothing standing in your way of achieving success while keeping your soul intact, except for the glass ceiling that the label set in place, or the big media company set in place for independence. Anyway, there are two words that you got to understand: automation and value stacking. Automation is going to be in the situation where you can pull yourself out of the labor that you need to do and you can automate it. Other side is going to be where you can't necessarily pull yourself out, like you got to do a show, and you're going to value stack it. But what you can do in that sense is you can do a live show, and in the live show you have the VIP meet and greet, and you have the group meet and greet, you have the general admission tickets, and you got the front row tickets or the special seating tickets, and then you have the merch at the show, and then you have your limited tour merch at the show. But then on top of that, you film the show so you can then now have that live concert. And so you value stack the entire show, right? And you can give the exclusive recording of that show if you want to, right? And so you just value stack the heck out of the show. And now we're doing it. And we're making so much money off of one particular run. If you're in this position, man, there is nothing to talk about. What are we talking about? We ain't even talking about practice at this point. We doing it at this point. So what you had to say to me about this? Why don't the record labels give you cash flow? Okay, so let me break it down. They do give you cash flow, but it's in the form of royalties, which unless you're a hit artist for quite some time, it means nothing. So in many cases, record labels paid you to do a job, which is to record the album and to help them promote the album ethically within the confines of a designated period. That's what they asked you to come on board to do. And then in exchange, they're going to give you the advance for what they assume that they could make off of you in that designated period of time, of the recordings rather. And then, on top of that, if you make that back plus all the marketing money and promotion money that they spent on it, then you can get a royalty. And if the royalty, remember the profit I said, if the royalty ain't 20% after you pay your producers and writers out of the masters, what are we talking about, man? What are we doing? Because what you don't realize, and now I have to go on the soapbox, is the advance you get is going to get eaten up so fast because one, you never had the money before. Two, when they begin to put you on the fast track, that money is going to be eaten up in other business ventures and business setups that you're going to have to do to be able to maintain the stability of the speed and of the track that they put you on, that is going to be gone. So you got to find other avenues to get more money. But when they've taken the labor that it takes for you to do this, and you're in a 360 deal and they're getting bits of this and bits of that, and you're not seeing the money, you ain't got no cash flow. What are we talking about? It's like, it's so much more worth it for you to build this thing right on your own than it is to go get signed. And I know there's some instances where you would want to get signed if you would need help, but that's not what I would do. At that point, I'd be looking for a partnership. That's what I'd be looking for. Well, how do you make the $10,000 a month, right? Because I know you asking me this. You have to build a portfolio of high quality assets, songs, masters, intellectual property, all that good stuff, photos, live recordings, etc. And then you have to raise that portfolio's value by marketing the hell out of it strategically. After you do that, make sure your collection buckets are set up properly so the incoming cash can be collected. Repeatedly doing this over and over again creates cash flow. And that's why I created a 60-day record label, so you could create those buckets to catch all that cash flow by setting the company up right and getting all the collection accounts right, at least for the music. The rest of it has to be done on your part and your team to set up more systems to collect more money. At least the music part is taken care of with the 60-day record label, plus options for better and more affordable funding right beneath this video. Click the link if you're not slow and you know what affordable funding sounds like. So anyway, how do you profit in a record deal if music is a loss leader product? Now that is a really good question. You have to realize what determines profit. Is the music a promotional price for your brand in the immediate? Will it profit later? And how much of the revenue is your net profit, i.e. the artist royalty like we mentioned earlier? If you can see the profit in the deal, great. But if you come out making less than that 20%, then what are we talking about? Like I was saying earlier, you lost control even before you started, because you'll never be able to pay the money back in a reasonable amount of time. And when you do start making money, it will only make a blip in your net worth. You see what I'm saying? So the ability to see the profit up front is everything. That's just what it is. Here's what you can do. Learn how to automate what you're doing. Get in the habit of building profit into your deals or finding profit in the deal. Then develop a plan to start making $1,000 per month passively. Let that sink in. I need you to develop that plan to figure out how we're going to make $1,000 a month passively. If you need help with that, join the Music Money Makers community. Meet me at Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll answer the questions on that every Monday, unless it was like, a special holiday or something. Every Monday I'll be in there and I'll answer all the questions that you need so you can get it done. When you do get it done, doing this will create more time so you can live. Ultimately, you're buying back your time. That's what you're doing here. And if you have more time so you can live, then you have more time to create better music and more opportunities for yourself. And if you learn how to buy back your time so you can create better music and opportunities, nothing will be able to stop you until you say, yo, I'm done. But this is what it costs you if you say, it's a little bit too much for me to do. Doing things manually leads to physical exhaustion, right? Like, let's say you like, yo, this is too much to learn. I don't want to learn these systems. I don't want to learn all this stuff. This takes away your energy to actually create. If you take away that energy to create, if you don't have energy to create or time to do it, you won't. That's the whole point. And the music will become a lost cause. So you want to focus on the things that I was saying in today's video. But at the end of the day, if you were struggling with creating passive income or building profit into your deals or automating your tasks, you now have the means to become the artist or team that doesn't need a label but needs a partnership, as I was saying earlier. Music Money Makers, if you make music, you should always make money. Log on to musicmoneymakeover.com, jump into the 60-day record label course beneath this video, join the Music Money Makers community beneath this video right now today, grab the affordable funding, build your label, smash the like button, drop a comment, share this video, and guess what? I'll see you next time. Peace.